All praises belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Lord of all the worlds. We seek refuge in Allah from the evil of our souls and the evil of our deeds. Whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides, no one can lead him astray. And whoever he leads astray, there's absolutely no one that can guide him. Reviewing with the hadith we stopped at last week, I feel it's very important that we review it again today because some of the benefit, the enormous benefit that's found inside of it. And this is chapter 21 in Sahih Al-Bukhari, which is to be ungrateful to one's husband and disbelief of different grades, lesser or greater in degrees. And Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ورأيت النار فإذا أكثر أهلها النساء يكفرن كلا يكفرن بالله قال يكفرن العشيرة ويكفرن الإحسان لو أحسنت إلى إحداهن دهرا ثم رأت منك شيئا قالت ما رأيت منك خير قط. Ibn Abbas, he narrated the Prophet ﷺ said, I was shown hellfire, and that the majority of its dwellers were women who were disbelievers or ungrateful. It was asked, do they disbelieve in Allah, or are they ungrateful to Allah? He replied, they are ungrateful to their husbands and are grateful for the favors and the good charitable deeds done to them. The good charitable deeds done to them. If you have always been good to them for a period of time, and then she sees something in you, something that she doesn't like, she will say, I have never seen any good from you. I've never seen any good from you. The word kufr, linguistically, it means satr. It means to cover. And here it is referring to denying the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the origin of kufr, it means to cover. There are 4 kinds of kufr that are punishable by hell, including this one. The first one is inkar, to deny Allah, to reject, stubbornness, and hypocrisy. And hypocrisy. Imam an-Nawawi rahimahullah, he said, whoever meets Allah with one of these, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not forgive him. Then Allah will not forgive him. For kufr al-inkar, it is to disbelieve in the heart and in the tongue. To disbelieve in the heart and in the tongue. So this is just a straight out atheist, a person who doesn't believe in Allah, who doesn't give Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala his rights. Allah, he described these kind of kuffar in Surah Al-Baqarah. He said, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا سَوَاءٌ عَلَيْهِمْ أَأَنذَرْتَهُمْ أَمْ لَمْ تُنذِرْهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. Indeed, those who disbelieve, it makes no difference. Whether you warn them or not, they will not believe. Meaning what? They have disbelieved in Allah. So this is the first kind of kufr. As for kufr to reject, it is to know it in the heart, but not announce it on the tongue, similar to Iblis. Then you have the kufr of stubbornness. It is to know it in the heart, to know it in the heart, and know it on the tongue, but refuse to fully accept it with the things of Iman. Such as the Shahada, belief in Allah, belief in the Prophet ﷺ, belief in the angels and the books. And this is similar to Abi Talib. Amma kufr nifaq, hypocrisy, then this is to have belief in the tongue, but disbelief in the heart. Disbelief in the heart. Ibn Rajab, he said, the kufr in this hadith isn't the one that takes a person out of Islam. Sometimes the word kufr is mentioned, and what is intended is a sin. This is what is intended. Similar to the verse, whoever doesn't rule by what Allah has revealed, then they are kuffar. Ibn Abbas, he said that the kufr here, it doesn't take a person out of Islam. It doesn't take a person out of Islam. Ibrahim al-Nakha'i, rahimahullah, he said kufr is of 2 types. Kufr in Allah, and to disbelieve or reject or deny Allah's blessings. This hadith, it teaches us that the leader of the Muslims, the imams, the scholars, the teachers, that he should admonish and advise the Muslims. Another point from this hadith is we have to encourage Muslims to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be grateful for the blessings that Allah has given us. Another benefit from this hadith is a student should return back to his teacher whenever he finds something that bothers him or he needs extra clarity, because they said, what was their kufr? So they return back to the Prophet. They return back to the Prophet. Another benefit from this hadith, the fourth one, is it's permissible to use kufr for ungratefulness of Allah's bounties and blessings and rejecting the truth. Another benefit from this hadith is sins weaken iman. Sins weaken iman. Another benefit from this hadith is that a woman's faith can increase if she is grateful towards her husband. If she's grateful towards her husband, her barakah will increase, and so will her iman. Imam Bukhari, he mentioned this hadith to show us that iman becomes infected with sins, but sins doesn't make a person a kafir. Another benefit from that hadith, my brothers, is that we should be good to our wives so that they don't fall into this kind of ungratefulness, so that they don't fall into this kind of disobedience. Another benefit from this hadith is that kufr is used for some acts of disobedience, and Allah knows best. The next hadith, sins are from ignorance, and a sinner is not a disbeliever unless he worships other than Allah. Imam Bukhari, rahimahullah, he quoted the verse, Inna Allaha la yaghfiru an yushrika bihi wa yaghfiru ma duna dhalika liman yasha. Verily Allah forgives not that partners should be set up with him, but he forgives everything else to whom he wills. Narrated by Al-Ma'rur radiyallahu anhu at Rabada, he said, I met Abu Dar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, who was wearing a cloak, and his slave too, who was wearing a similar one. I asked about the reason for it. He replied, I abused a man by calling his mother with bad names. The Prophet said to me, O Abu Dar, did you abuse him by calling his mother with bad names? You still have some characteristics of ignorance. Your slaves are your brothers, and Allah has put them under your command. So whoever has a brother under his command should feed him that of what he eats, and dress him with the same thing he wears. Do not ask them, slaves, meaning to do things beyond their capacity or power, and if you do so, then help them. This hadith, Imam An-Nawawi, he says that sins are from Jahiliyyah. Sins are from Jahiliyyah. And the sinner who does them isn't a kafir, because it's clear that Abu Dhar, he committed a sin, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Another benefit from this hadith is, if a person believes that sins are halal, the sins that are mentioned in the Quran, the Sunnah, and the Ijma', like zina, like alcohol and riba, then this person is considered a disbeliever unless he's a new Muslim. Imam Nawawi, he stressed the point, unless he's a new Muslim. He's ignorant. Some places in Bosnia, they didn't know that alcohol was prohibited. The Quran is in Arabic. Some people have not been afforded to read the Quran, and some people have not been afforded the opportunity to read it and translate it. So here, this kind of person who is a new Muslim or is raised in a remote area, then this kind of person is to be taught. He's to be taught and educated. Don't make a verdict on him that he's a kafir. This verse that Imam Bukhari used is a proof that a sinner who dies without repenting or committing shirk is under Allah's will. It's not for you and me to play the role of God and say he was an alcoholic, he's going to hell, he used to involve in the riba, he used to commit zina, he used to do this and that. The unseen is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another one here is not allowed to curse a slave or his parents. The Prophet described this kind of act as from Jahiliyyah. I remember when I was a child that if you wanted to start a fight with somebody, the fastest way to do it was to say something about his mother. Your mother's a fat woman. Your mother, she wets the bed. Whatever this was, insulting someone's mother were the acts of Jahiliyyah during that time, and likewise the time today. Also, cursing a Muslim is from the acts of Jahiliyyah. Calling a Muslim names. As the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Sabab al-Muslim fasuq wa qitalahu kufr. Cursing a Muslim is fasuq, and fighting him is an act of disbelief. However, this act here is another proof وَقِتَالُهُ كُفْرٌ. It isn't the kufr that takes a person out of Islam. No, it's a sin, a serious sin. This hadith encourages us to be good with our workers, to be good with our maids, even the animals. This hadith teaches us that it's recommended to feed your slave or maid from the food that you eat, dress them with the things that you wear. This hadith, it also teaches us that a worker shouldn't be overworked beyond his capacity or given jobs that he or she really can't handle. This hadith, it teaches us and encourages us to enjoy what is right and to forbid what is wrong. And the last benefit from this hadith is that it teaches us to unite the hearts of the Muslims equally, as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam defined and described that slave as being his brother. Wa subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.